In this video, I'm going to be covering the vape brand Lost Mary, and I'm also going to be discussing, what about this controversial name of a vape brand, controversial company, is having an effect on a percentage level of the population. And so getting right into it, we're talking about what does, the Virgin Mary stand for when it comes to that in general. It happens to deal with what does it serve as a protective, biblically speaking, symbolically, what does it protect against? Well, it says that the Virgin Mary protects against the evil one, also known as Satan, also known as the devil. You all know who that is. But so it's saying that in the, title, in the name of this company, it is the Lost Mary. So what about this company we're going to talk about and start to talk about in this video is what about this company and what they're doing is in line with the, let's say, lost values or the absence of whatever Mary stands for. And we're going to talk about, biblically, or we're going to talk about, what have thousands of years looked back on and looked at the concept of the Virgin Mary and how can this tie into what's going on into today's times. So we're also going to check in and see what about their website, what about their mission. I'm going to read it to you guys. We're going to talk about what about this when it comes to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. What about this is having an effect on people when it comes to that. So Mary is the matrix of all possibilities in form here in our world. And divine feminine and woman, womb, man, refers to the egg being the body. There is a possibility that the use of these products can have an effect on reproducing, just like smoking cigarettes can have an effect on people while they are pregnant. So we don't know if there is reproduction, something going on here with how it can affect your reproductivity. This is a universal oxymoron when the action of women who are mothers by nature becomes using these addictive substances and possibly falling into these addictive patterns with these substances. And for not only women, but men as well, the use of Lost Mary products, among other nicotine-related products, aim to target a percentage level of the population, can have you chasing that same feeling as you felt when you got that first high, aka lost, and Mary, esoterically meaning the woman/divine feeling or feminine. It's that by omission, that in order to enhance an operation variable, so if you don't think they know that's what they're doing, it's what's being done at the end of the day. So there's no questions about that. That's exactly what's happening. People are getting addicted to this company's products, like their vapes and stuff like that, because the way they target it at a certain population, the way that they advertise it, the way that they, let's say, make it sound as, they call it awesome or something like that as possible. They really get you hooked up on, like positive talk and persuasion, especially on their website. When I read, the excerpt from their website, you guys will understand this. But yeah, this is just one thing from their website, from Lost Mary's website. They said the only thing you could do is live each day as it comes, enjoy it, and never become lost again. but how do you get a taste of the good life? So they're saying here is that, sure, they said, the only thing you can do is live each day as it comes, which is true. But anyways, it goes on to say, enjoy it and never become lost again. So it's setting you up to, let's say, be found, but that's presupposing that you're already lost, which is what they're doing. And then it says, but how do you get a taste of the good life? I assume after that they go into pick up a lost Mary, pick up a vape, then you'll get a taste of the good life. And when that's something that a company's promoting, that's almost like just a way of, let's say, using persuasion to validate your desires that are, sure, you may enjoy it, you may feel like you never lost again, even though you weren't lost to begin with until, according to them, you were lost and you came to find their products. But anyways, it's just setting it up to validate your desires, which is not promoting really anything when it comes to what's right for the reality right now. So I'm going to get into reading off their website here. It's getting you into that behavior. It's getting you into those specific cycles of, let's say, an addiction to nicotine. It's like, okay, well, what is the definition of being in a holistic state? It's doing something, or maybe insanity as well, doing something, the same thing over and over again, in order to think that something else is going to happen. That's the definition of that. And then, of course, the definition of maybe experiencing a holistic state could be experiencing an addiction where you are constantly taken over by this addiction where you don't change and you're just in a state of experiencing this because you're not able to see that it's just because this is what you desire, and to be able to balance that is what you should do in order to not let it compromise you. So I'm gonna load up their website here and we're gonna read from it, because their mission statement, not that I know that it's their mission statement, but it says about them, on their company. On their company's website. And it's just very deceiving, so let's get into it. Turn up my brightness here. Alright, so let me get into this. Most people in today's materialistic environment become disoriented due to the abundance of options. So they're saying that most people in today's materialistic environment, which is just boosting that up because we know that we live in the physical realm. We know that that already is a materialistic environment. And they're presupposing that people are automatically wrapped up and that they have no hope to be above the materialistic needs, or let's say the desires of the materialistic world. So they're saying that people become disorientated due to the abundance of options that we have. That's not true, because look at the abundance of differences in people. Everyone is different. So the abundance of options that are in the physical realm are up to each individual to be able to deal with, not for them to be presupposed to being disorientated because the abundance of options. That's just a cop-out right there. So that's only the first sentence of their website here. I'm reading their story. So let's see. As a result, as they stray along many paths, people eventually lose sight of the purpose of their existence. So as a result of having many options, they stray along many paths, and people will eventually lose sight of the purpose of their existence. So it'll be interesting to see how they hook this into their vape devices, which are nicotine. What we need to realize is that, to paraphrase Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates, and the consequences are often unexpected. So yeah, sure, that's a quote from a movie, but that could be something right there that we could look at, because let's see, lose sight of their purpose of their existence. Then it goes on to say, we need to realize that the consequences are often unexpected. Sure, that may be true for a numerous amount of experiences and situations and scenarios, but in able to, get over the fact of consequences that are unexpected, you have to do things that you have to expect that can possibly be unexpected. Let's say if you're vaping for 20 years and you feel that you are starting to get a hole in your lung, quitting before that happened would be, stopping a consequences of something that could possibly be unexpected. So it's almost like they're saying, okay, life is like a box of chocolates. You could choose anything that's here you can do, as long as you realize that the consequences are often unexpected. I would not say that you should go out there and just do things just because, there's always going to be consequences that are unexpected. That's a weak point, and that's really not relevant when it comes to the conversation of why should someone use a product like this that is not good for them. You never know what will occur today, tomorrow, or even in a moment, which is correct, which is why it can be so hard to live in the moment, and why lots of people can reach out externally to, let's say, addictions, let's say substances or toxic behaviors, to you fulfill yourself in that moment, but realizing that rather than keeping fed up with all that stuff and keeping busy on that, why not stay in the moment, in the present moment, and do something that's part of your purpose? They're saying in this excerpt that people eventually lose sight of the purpose of their existence. That doesn't mean that if you lose sight of your purpose of existence that you cannot find that again, or that you cannot create that for yourself. So yes, you don't know what will occur today, tomorrow, or even in a moment, does not mean, okay, do whatever you do to feel right in the moment, and let's surpass or override what can happen tomorrow, what can happen today, or what can happen in even a moment, like they say. They go on to say that the only thing you can do is live each day as it comes, enjoy it, and never become lost again. So they say the only thing you can do is live each day as it comes, enjoy it, sure, but the part where they say and never become lost again, okay, but they're presupposing that you're lost. So that would be interesting to see what they mean by and never become lost again. We'll dive deeper into that, but then they go on to say, but how do you get a taste of the good life? What is the good life, as they say? Isn't life life? What is good or bad about life? There's ups and downs, there's positive, there's negatives. But what is it for them to say, this is a taste of the good life? They then say, try to imagine, when you are under constant deadline pressure, you may question why you are working so hard. Yes, that's very true. That's why it's the right thing to do when you're in a position like this, to mentally ask yourself, why are you working so hard? Don't just, oh, I question this. I'm in this state of questioning. Like they say, you may question why you are working so hard. Okay, question why you are working so hard mentally and answer back why you are working that hard. Mentally respond to yourself and say, this is why I'm working this hard. Physically ask and see, why are you working so hard? Why physically are you putting yourself in this state and space physically to continue on working so hard? What is the goals that you're working towards, and how are you going to be able to see that play out when it comes to physically? Emotionally, why are you working so hard? What are your passions when it comes to how you feel about your path and how you feel about why you are working so hard and why you do what you do? And spiritually, know that you're working so hard because you're gaining all this experience, you're gaining all this growth when it comes to spiritually. You're going on to experience, and the more that you are experiencing in this life, the more you are able to spiritually grow. But yes, they say when you are under constant deadline pressure, you may question why you are working so hard. They then go on to say, then simply take a break and grab a lost Mary. You will discover who you are. So they're saying, if this is happening to you, you need to take a break and grab a lost Mary. That's exactly what I've talked about on my channel about why nicotine is mentally addictive, why nicotine is physically doing the things that it does, why it has the effect on the emotional state of being, why it has an effect on your spiritual state of being, and all your states of being when it comes to you. So they say that, take a break, grab a lost Mary, you will discover who you are. Ironically, they say, grab a lost Mary. This will help you discover who you are. That's an oxymoron right there. That's a walking contradiction right there. There is no reason to be lost because life is awesome. That's what they say. Life is awesome. That's why you should grab their device. You should take this nicotine device that's addictive, that can have harmful effects towards your body, that can have effects on your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual state of being. And why should you do this? Oh, there's no reason to be lost because, life is awesome. They want you to use their product, which you'll always be trying to get that first high or that highest rush, that nicotine buzz that you get, as the lost feeling. And Lost Mary, Lost, like I said, already broke down and exposed how Mary Mary is equal to, woman, or let's say feeling. So you're chasing that lost feeling once you try that. And it's going to be a lost experience at that point because it's not just the emotional, it's the physical, mental, and spiritual state of being that's being affected by this activity. So that's a way that they try to get you to, okay, I'm validating my desires to, I've worked hard enough, let me simply take a break and grab a lost Mary. How will that benefit me? Well, I have many videos on my channel about how nicotine can affect one and how one can moderate and or cease to use nicotine. From their website, they say, when you have been having a crazy time at parties or nightclubs, you may start to feel sleepy. I don't know why they say that, and that's really cringe, but if you've been having a crazy time at parties or nightclubs, you may start to feel sleepy. Yeah, that's called being hung over the next day because of the poison that you put in your body. They are such logical falsehoods going on here that it's honestly making it easy to expose. So really, what you do feel is hungover, and the moral of the story is when you drink alcohol, nicotine affects you in the way of you may start to feel sleepy. That's because you keep using the nicotine. The more you use the nicotine, you'll eventually pass out because it's such having a reaction on you that when you're drunk, the nicotine will have an effect on you of possibly making the buzz feel a little bit stronger. And like they say, you might start to feel sleepy. Ironically, they say that, oh, it's because you're at parties or nightclubs. But if you're drinking and you're also smoking, then you're going to feel that way. You're either going to pass out. I mean, I could tell you countless amounts of times that I was using my nicotine when I was drinking and stuff, or partying, or whatever like that. And I could tell that the more I hit my nicotine, the more fucked up I would get, the more tired and, let's say, sleepy, like they said, that I would get. And that's because you start to get more run down physically and your body needs rest. So they say your heart fills with a sense of loss as it feels out of step with the raucous crowd. So I'll look up what raucous crowd means on a separate tab here, but they say your heart fills with a sense of loss. Why, if you are, working really hard, simply taking a break, rewarding yourself with, let's say, going to a nightclub or going out partying or having a night out or whatever it may be, why do they want to then say your heart fills with a sense of loss? You shouldn't be, recovering from those events with feeling like you're lost, like your heart is lost because you'll never feel that way again from the night before or from previous experiences. They said it feels out of step with the raucous crowd. I'm assuming, and I'm not even going to look up that word because I can define it myself. Raucous meaning, hey, what's going on with everyone around you in a loud or let's say put on a pedestal or let's say set on a stage manner. And raucous, I'll look it up just because I want to see what they want to call it. Yeah, so loud, raucous. I was gonna say loud, but I just causing a ruckus. So the ruckus crowd. I wasn't really saying the word right, but anyways. If you feel out of step with the raucous crowd, they want you to, and in this sentence, they're enforcing the ruckus crowd as the combined and let's say society, or let's say the collective consciousness surrounding lots of people doing an action, therefore lessening the burden on the individuals because there's a community and there is a abundance of people who support this actions. So they're saying that you feel out of step with the raucous crowd. In other words, not fitting in when really you shouldn't be fitting in. You should be, in your own lane and embracing your individualistic nature, and then being around others. And then once you are secure when it comes to yourself individually, then you can interact with others in a more prosperous way. They say, okay, feel out of step with the raucous crowd. Once you had a lost Mary, you can resume your next phase of happiness and freedom. You don't need a lost Mary to resume your next phase of happiness and freedom. You can do that without it. And the fact that they insist that once you've had the lost Mary, then you can resume your next phase of happiness and freedom. Until that device runs out, then what do you need to go do? You need to go buy another one of their devices. You need to go supply your addiction more and more. And then you can, let's say, resume your next phase of happiness and freedom. They say there's no reason to be lost because life is awesome. There they go saying that you should use their products, and that if you don't use their products, that you're lost, because they say there's no reason to be lost because life is awesome is what they say. And sure, there's no reason for you to be lost, but that doesn't mean you go and you are using their products just because that's what's accepted. You have to think about what's right for you, what's right for your states of being when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Because most of the time, resuming your next phase of happiness and freedom, one will understand that that's always going. mentally, you can have that mental stability of, let's say, happiness and freedom, mental freedom from addiction. In other words, physically, your next phase of happiness and freedom can be detaching from these devices that you're possibly addicted to and that are maybe holding you back. Emotionally, yes, starting your next phase of happiness. For me, on this journey that I've been on, for those of you that don't know, I've gone a year in about 11 days without, almost 12, but about 11 days without nicotine. And this whole journey has been a phase of emotional intelligence, emotional strength, emotional stability, and spiritually a very freeing action when it comes to my spiritual state of being. So moving on, and we're almost through this. Okay, even though you might not be lost when you are with your family, you must yet be overjoyed, because since you have already been surrounded by joy. They say this because I'm literally reading through the lines here. So they say, even though you might not be lost when you are with your family, you must yet be overjoyed, because since you have already been surrounded by joy. Being overjoyed is in a state of depletion and in a state of, when they talk about overjoyed, because they've just been talking about how do you get a taste of the good life, use their products, and their state being overjoyed is using their products and having that super high that you might not be able to achieve necessarily with your natural states of being. So they say you must yet be overjoyed, because since you have already been surrounded by joy. They're saying that the joy you have been surrounded by so much with your device, and let's say it's around other people, or it's being by yourself with your device and your addiction. They're saying that those overjoyed you, and now, they say, even though you're not lost when you're with your family, you might be overjoyed because of your actions when you weren't around your family, which I don't know why they bring family into this, but they then go on to say, why not be open to more? Pick up a lost Mary with a fashion style. You will gain double happiness. So that's demented in so many ways, just like this whole website is, and I'm seeing through the lines, but they say, why not be open to more? So let's say you do end up having to be around your family, or be around other people that you aren't so joyous around or whatnot, or you're not feeling like you're on such a high like you were when you had your device, or when you were partying, or doing all these things that are not necessarily helping you in the long run but are making you feel good in the short run. They're saying, okay, grab a lost Mary. Why not be open to more? You'll be open to the, let's say, dull experiences, or the little things in life that you can easily surpass and get through, they're saying, with their devices. Because, I've said on my channel before, there's nothing more destructive. Well, I haven't said this, but I'm developing this now. There's nothing more destructive than the grave lengths you'll go to tell yourself things to validate your own experiences and your own desires, even though they may be they may be harming you in that way. So grab one of those just to get through those dull occasions. Then they say, like I said, pick up a lost Mary with a fashion style. You will gain double happiness. I'm telling you right now, don't listen to that bullshit, because you will not gain double happiness. Sure, you may feel like you're on a high when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, but without that, you're not, and it doesn't last longer than temporary, those feelings. So the fact that they say you will gain double happiness is pointless, because you have to continuously buy their products, continuously use their products in order to fit in with the fashion style, and to say that you will gain double happiness is not true. So they're getting exposed again right there. I don't know what to tell them. They should have thought about this. I don't know. I know I'm the first one on the internet to come out with this this knowledge and this wisdom when it comes to exposing Lost Mary vapes, because, well, I've gone through it, and the moment that I saw that, okay, Lost Mary is this new vape company that everyone's into, I knew that there was something there that I was going to be able to decode and be able to break down, and how they are actually affecting people more than, let's say, causing people to gain happiness or being there because life is awesome or whatnot. They say that we can certainly conceive of countless similar occasions. So they're just referring to above, which is getting through any dull moments, countless similar occasions where your happiness will just be so much better because you'll be able to get by moment for moment with the nicotine. Last paragraph here, and they say, most things we love and do may be changed because time never stops. And that's true, but that's true in the way of, okay, we love to do something. Just because we like to do something does not mean that we continuously do it. Right? That doesn't mean that we can just continuously do it just because time never stops. They say that things that we love and do may be changed because time never stops. As a result, we could occasionally become disorientated and depleted and unable to discern our purpose in life. Despite the fact we cannot escape, life is nevertheless lovely and joyous. So that's great. That's great in all what they're saying, but then they say, grab a Lost Mary and calm down. The good times are just around the corner. So they're presupposing that you're not actually doing things that we love, and we're not changing things for the right reasons because time never stops. And they're saying that we occasionally become disorientated and depleted, and that we won't be able to discern our purpose in life, and that the way that they're recommending that we go about that and go about fixing that is by grabbing a Lost Mary and calm down, because the good times are just around the corner. And I'm telling you right now, those are not good times that are around the corner. Those are times of maybe perceiving and delusionally perceiving that it's a good time, but at the end of the day, you're gonna come to realize, and you'll come to these realizations like I have for myself, that that's really not the right thing for one. So their value, it says on their website, our value, quality, fashion, Mary. Their mission, to assist vapers in discovering the joy of their true selves by exploring the depths of their minds and souls. Explain to me how that works, Lost Mary. Right? Explain to me. Of course, there's no more explanation when it comes to what they just said right there. It's just that in a picture. And then their vision, to develop Lost Mary as the most distinctive vaping brand, leading the way in fashion. That's what they say on their website. They want to help vapers discover the joy of their true selves, but really what they're doing is helping one to stay more fixated on a substance, because they're just making it all more appealing. The way that they describe it on their website is, oh, this is a good thing, when actually they're practicing form of spells and form of witchcraft to make one think that, oh, they should be validating their desires too, because life is awesome, or because the joy of life is just around the corner. And also the good times are just around the corner. That's just as true without these devices, so what they're saying is really pointless. They also say, by exploring the depths of their minds and souls. How does using nicotine help one explore and the depths of their minds and souls? Because it mentally, that's not helping you whatsoever explore the depths of your mind. Being mentally fixated on a substance is not helping one to delve deeper into their own mind. In fact, my own experience, mentally, nicotine and these vapes, these disposables, and not only that, but reusables are not really for helping one understand the depth of their mind. In fact, they can have you in a stagnant, fixated, and docile state when it comes to mentally. And your soul is not benefiting either, and you're not exploring the depth of your soul by using their products, because spiritually you're in a state of being where you're allowing something external to you to have that power over your actions when it comes to the way that you act out in your life physically. So it's almost like it's draining you from your power in the guise of, do this is great, this is what's recommended, hey, it's all good, that is what they're saying. Use their products, you'll feel much better, you'll have a much better time, which is not true. You'll just be addicted to their products. How does that equate to having a good time, being joyous in life? And the fact that they say to develop Lost Mary as the most distinctive vaping brand, sure, it's the most distinctive, but distinctive's not good when it has people detrimentally hooked on a substance and affecting a percentage of the population when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So you got to think about those things, not just what's on the surface level and not just what this website says, but think about what's actually happening in general when it comes to this. It says leading the way in fashion. That's just another way for them to get, society hooked onto. These are fashionable. These are what's in right now. It's more accepted. It's just a way to validate more people to be willing to use these products and to make it that much more normal, let's say, in a society like this one. That's going to be it for going over their website. I think I've made it clear that regardless of if you think they know what they're doing with the whole Lost Mary and its relation to the Virgin Mary, which serves as protectance against the evil one, like I said, Satan. And it so happens to be what they're promoting is named Lost Mary, the absence of Mary, who symbolizes what I just say, the protectance against the evil one. And for them to be preaching an addictive substance and, let's say, something that can have someone validating their desires in a demonic way and not a, let's say, heavenly way, then this is why I had to expose them. This is why I had to expose what is happening and how this is affecting a percentage level of the population. If you made it through this whole video, show some support. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, show some support. I definitely enjoyed making this video. This was something that I wanted to share. I wanted to break down this brand, Lost Mary. I wanted to expose what's going on behind the scenes. And if there's any questions, any debates about this, drop it down in the comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one.